Hey everyone, Matt here from Docs Running, and today we're going to do a comparison review of the New Balance Fresh Foam 1080 version 13 and the New Balance Fresh Foam 880 version 14. So both these are in the New Balance neutral line of running shoes. They look quite similar. The 1080 is the premium neutral cushion running shoe. The 880 is the more standard inline neutral running shoe. What that means can be very confusing as there's a lot of running shoes out there. So if you're interested in a neutral shoe from New Balance, I'm hoping this review helps you figure out which one of these two might work better for you. So let's start off with specs first. The 1080 is coming in at 9.3 ounces or 263 grams for about men's size 9, women's size 10.5. The 880 is coming in at 8.7 ounces or about 247 grams for men's size 9, women's size 10.5. Stack height wise, very different. The 1080 is coming in at 37 in the heel, 31 in the forefoot for a 6mm drop. The 880 is coming in at 31 in the heel, 23 in the forefoot. Both these are very different from previous versions. They have evolved quite a bit, dropped a ton of weight, really updated the Fresh from underfoot, both gotten a lot softer. But let's talk about how things are really different, especially with ride. So the 1080 is the softest shoe I have ever run in. The Fresh Foam compound in here, there's a ton of compression. It's not resilient. It's not a responsive shoe at all. This is, if you want a cushion shoe that's also really light, it's the lightest one of these premium neutral training shoes. It is so soft and it's really light underfoot. It's also got a lower drop, so taking kind of in the more maximalist realm, but it's so soft and it was really best for very easy efforts. If you can handle this for long runs, great. I certainly cannot, just because it's not stable enough for me. But if you want the softest shoe ever, the 1080 is going to be the shoe for easy efforts underfoot. The 880 is a different story. It's certainly softer and lighter than previous versions, but 8.7 ounces, it's almost like a lightweight trainer. The Fresh Foam midsole is very normal. It's got good cushioning, but it's not the softest or not the firmest. It sits right in the middle. It's light enough that it can handle some up-tempo work if you want, but it really feels good just chugging along doing standard miles, and it's a great mileage shoe for getting a lot of stuff, especially if you want a little bit lighter shoe. Both of them have excellent heel bevels. If you are a rear foot striker, there's a slightly posterior lateral heel bevel that transitions very nicely. Both of them have midfoots that are a little bit wider, so a tiny bit of inherent stability, but the mushiness of the 1080 takes that away. And both of them have forefoot that are moderately to mildly flexible on both sides. If you have any toe mobility issues, these are not going to be the best shoes because they still have a good amount of flexibility. Whereas if you want some flexibility and a kind of a more standard training shoe, both these are actually going to work really, really, really well for that. Again, responsiveness wise, 1080 is good for easy runs. The 880 is going to have a little bit ability to pick up the pace a little bit just because it's light, but both of them are good for easier efforts and getting mileage. If you just want the softest shoe ever, 1080. If you want something more standard, the 880 is going to work a lot better. These are neutral shoes, but I got to talk about stability and guidance. The 1080 is not stable at all. There are sidewalls that you can see, but the sole is so soft. There is no ounce of stability. You better have stable mechanics to be able to run in this shoe. Again, it's really soft, which can be good for some people. For me, my mileage is very limited in this shoe because it is so soft. Now, the 880 is a different story. There's excellent sidewalls in this shoe, especially in the rear foot. The midsole sets a little bit wider. The midfoot doesn't narrow too much, and it actually does feel a little bit stable neutral. I can do long runs. I can do plenty of runs in this shoe. So if you need some mild guidance, it's not a stability shoe. You're going to want to look at the 860 for that, which we have not tested yet. You're going to want, if you want a little bit more guidance, in the rear foot especially, the 880 is going to be a better shoe for you, where if you don't want sidewalls at all or anything get in the way, you just want softness, the 1080 is going to be the shoe that works better completely. In terms of fit, they're also very different. They both have fits that are slightly wider in the forefoot. The volume, though, of the 880 is on the lower side. It's got a knit mesh, so there is some flexibility to it, but it sits very low in the toes, and there's a little bit stiffer toe guard up front, which does make the shoe feel a tiny bit more tapered. When you put it on, it feels like there's a very normal amount of room, but there's a teeny bit extra wiggle room side to side, but height-wise, sits very low along the forefoot and certainly in the midfoot. The 1080 doesn't feel like that. There's a good amount of volume. You can see I really had to lock the laces down to get a secure fit. The mesh does really, the knit mesh does stretch quite a bit. There is plenty of room throughout. If you have a higher width and a higher volume foot, the 1080 is going to do really, really well for you just because there's more inherent room through there. Now, both these come in a variety of sizes, from a narrow width all the way up to a 4E or wider width. So if you need any variation on it, you're going to be able to find it. But just know the 1080 is going to have a lot more volume and width. The 880 is going to have some width, but sit very low across the foot, so feel more narrow, not narrow, but more normal width. Both have fairly stiff heel counter. I will say that the 880 has bugged my heel a little bit. I can get over that, but anybody with heel sensitivities, neither one of these are going to work super well, because even with the 1080, it's got more cushioning in it. It's still got a stiffer heel counter, so just be watchful that those things are fairly similar. And finally, with durability, I have 30 miles on the 1080 and I have about 40 miles on the 880. Both these have excellent durability. I'm pretty hard on shoes. There's no wear on the posterolateral side on the heel for me. The outsole's got really good grip for a road shoe. The 1080 I would not take on trails because this softer exposed fresh foam will get ripped up. The 880 might do better, but New Balance has plenty of trail shoes. So if you want to do trail stuff, I would definitely choose something else, but both these can certainly handle a little bit, but you're going to want to really keep both these to road. If one of them has a little bit more versatility in the trail, maybe 880, but for the most part, they are road shoes. So hopefully that helps you make your decision. I preference the 880 because it's just a little bit more stable for me. I like the lighter ride, although both these are, I think, the lightest of each of their categories, be it the premium neutral and the standard neutral shoes. So great job, New Balance. Did an awesome job with this. I just prefer the 880 because it's a little bit more stable for me inherently, and I need that. And also, I just like the lighter ride and the ability to pick up a pace a little bit. But if you want the softest shoe I've ever experienced, the 1080 may be worth that extra $25 because the durability is there, the little extra room is there. And so if you want a little extra room plus that soft fit, 1080 is going to be really, really well. But if you really want something that just has a little bit of versatility, but it's also, I don't mean this to be rude, the 880 is the best boring shoe of 2024 because it's really consistent. It's got good durability. It can handle a little variety of things, but it's really just best for getting something on your feet that doesn't like go, hey, hello, how are you doing? Right in your face, and you can just get your miles in. Both of them are excellent shoes and excellent upgrades from the prior versions. New Balance, you're doing a really great job this year. So I hope this video helps you. If you're interested in either one of these, let me know below which one you actually prefer, if you've tried them, or if you agree or disagree with some of the things that I've said. As always, hope this helps you make your decisions, and I'm always curious to know what you think as well.